Hello and welcome to this video. I'm going to show you the basics of HTML5 and how to create a form that will be validated by JavaScript. All template code for this demonstration is available on Blackboard in the resources for this session folder. Let's start by taking a look at the basic HTML5 template that I have here on the screen. During your HTML class, you'll learn HTML5 in greater depth. However, this is just an introduction to get you started here. In line 1, where the cursor is currently, here, we have the doc type. You'll notice that it is a simple doc type, and all it does is put the browser into the standards mode. Line 2 is the HTML element. Line 3 is the head element, and inside this element we have a series of other tags. The meta tag, or element, is there to put the character encoding, or the character set. In this case we're using UTF-8 as it supports every character in every language. This also means that we can add a language element, or attribute, to the HTML tag. However, it's not necessarily something that you have to do. After the character set meta element, we then put in the title, and my title of this document here is HTML5 template. I'm going to be using an external style sheet, and most style sheets that you use are external style sheets. So to insert an external style sheet, I put in the word link, or the element. I then put in the attribute relation, I can't type this morning, and it's going to be a style sheet, and I'm putting in the location, which is in a CSS folder inside my structure, and I'm looking for styles.css as the file. Oops. There we go. So that is the link element. You'll notice that it does not have a type attribute because HTML5 assumes that the type is going to be text CSS. You'll also notice above it in lines 6 to 8 that we have a conditional statement. Conditional statements are only read by Internet Explorer. And in this case, we're using a conditional statement that says if it is less than the IE9, then I want you to go and get this script. This is because IE browsers less than IE9 don't actually recognize HTML5. So if you want your page still reached by those people who are using IE7 and IE8, you'll need to put in the HTML5 shiv, which adds new elements to the HTML page so that your page can be rendered. Now I've got another file here, oops, wrong one, called the login HTML file, and this is our form. And it's based on our basic template that we saw before. The only thing is that I've added inside the body tag, which is normal, and I forgot to mention that in the template, the body and the HTML closing tags are normal than what we normally see. In here we have a form. And the only difference with this form and other normal forms is that we're using a different input type. My input type here is email, which is a new input type, and I'm sure your HTML class will go through those in greater detail in a few weeks. But we also have an attribute called required in both the email and the password. It's just a little bit hidden there. Okay? And this means that you have to put in a password and you have to put in an email address. They're required elements. And before HTML5 came along, we would have done that in a great elaborative way, using CSS and HTML and JavaScript. Now you'll notice here in line 21, I've actually put in a script tag. And this script tag is so that it can go to the JavaScript for those browsers that don't use HTML5, or you may want to use a script to validate for something that HTML5 doesn't. Because HTML5 forms have this inbuilt. So in here we have a login.js file inside a JS folder or JavaScript folder. I put this tag or element at the bottom below the form, but before the closing body tag, and this is what best practice tells us. And again, you'll notice that it does not have a type attribute, because HTML5 assumes that it's going to be text/JavaScript. Now that we've set up our document, let us go to the next video to create the required JavaScript so browsers other than